Good afternoon, everybody. This is another replay review casted by the one and only myself, MarineKush. Going to be taking a look today at a game on Shattered Temple. Now, in the 3 o'clock position, let's take a look who we have here. Oh, it's oGsSuperNova playing as the blue Terran. And who's his opponent going to be? None other than the red Terran, oGstheStc. Both players from the oGs clan in Korea. Going to be going head-to-head in a TvT. Let's see what happens. Pull up the production tab. Let's get those nameplates up. Both players going at the same build over, making that SCV on 10. No divergence from the standard whatsoever. No early gas so far. Just going to be going with those standardized Terran versus Terran builds. Now, we do know oGsSuperNova did pretty well in Code A last season, the GSL. oGstheStc, I have to admit, I haven't seen as much of his play lately. I recall him playing a lot more in the early seasons of the GSL, but recently I haven't seen him too much. Even in the team league, I've seen him maybe once, if. No real memorable games. oGsSuperNova, though, a very good macro Terran. Very solid builds. So, we'll have to see what is in store for us today. I don't know which player tends to be more aggressive. They both prefer macro, if they both prefer fast expands. I see both of them going for the refinery on 13, so they are going to be doing some sort of tech, whether that's just a Reaper to get that expansion out, or all the way up to Cloak Banshee. We'll have to take a look and see. Scout moving out for oGsSuperNova. STC deciding to scout after that barracks is finished. Going to be high-fiving right there. Both players getting their orbital command immediately after that barracks is completed. Getting a little depot for some, just to get that, open up the sight lines to your base. It is close air positions. The players do not know that yet, but soon they will, and it's always nice to keep this area aware of any drops. You don't want to be caught by surprise. Drops can really be shut down if you can catch them as they're dropping. You know, you can pick off units as they're being dropped, whereas if a player has time to unload his entire medevac, well, you know, he can just stim in and take out many SCVs. So, just kind of wandering around the map with a couple Marines, jockeying for this Zelnaga tower. It's interesting. SCC deciding just to give up the Zelnaga tower easily like that. He could have just left one Marine there. Deciding to come back. I think he smells a Reaper, possibly. Let's take a look what it's going to be. Nope. It's going to be a factory for both players. Look at this build order. Identical thus far. Which is not surprising in TvT. This is the standard 1-1-1. It's a very typical. It might add on a refinery, might add a tech lab, might add a starport. But so far, this is very common in all my TvTs. In fact, most of my Terran games look very similar to this. And there's the reactor that I was talking about, and here comes the starport. So I think we're going to be seeing a tech lab. There it goes. And yeah, it's going to be a Banshee play. And for STC, I don't see a starport, so it might be more of a siege expand. Is getting that reactor barracks, which will help deal with those Banshees. But as far as any more tech, oh, it's going to be Blue Flame Hellions. Great, excellent. So it's going to be either some type of harass with the Blue Flame Hellions. Doesn't look like he's got a starport, so maybe no drops, but maybe more of like a 6-4 Hellion Marine push, just trying to clear out whatever may be defending the ramp. Because with just Cloak Banshees and Marines, you do have a tough time stopping Blue Flame Hellions and Marines, especially if he does decide to bring some SCVs. And there's the starport, so it looks like it's going to be a 3-4 Blue Flame Hellion drop, which could be devastating. I mean, he's got these depots down right now, but he could lift them. But to be honest, Blue Flame Hellions can scoot in here, through here, and it's going to do damage, I guarantee. However, Cloak Banshee is often a hard counter to Blue Flame Hellions if you can prevent those Hellions from doing damage. So both players getting off good scans. Maybe, did he see that starport? He does see the starport. He did see it. He did see the upgrade for Cloak. So he knows, immediately getting that engineering array down, bringing his Marines back to the mineral line. At the same time, what's Supernova doing to counteract these Blue Flame Hellions? Well, he's going to bring his Marines over here to patrol this side. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. Maybe he might just go up the middle through here. He did wall off, so he's safe from any run-bys. And here's a Viking to get rid of this Banshee. So that's a nice play by SuperNova there. He does lose the Banshee, but that Viking is out. So if he wants to get it, yeah, he's going to have to make another Viking because you can expect more Banshees coming out of here. He hasn't even gotten cloak finish, so... Oh, will these Hellions sneak by? No, the depot's up, and these will be rather ineffective. In fact, it's very reassuring to SuperNova to know that these Hellions are here and not in here. Banshee going to come cleaning up. And this is kind of what I was talking about. Banshees are somewhat of a hard counter to the Blue Flame Hellion drop, given that the Hellions do not get into the base to wreak havoc. Command Center going down for SuperNova. Looks like the STC is going to be getting Reactor Vikings and Siege mode. So his harass is done. He's going to be switching over to a one-base push. Maybe get 2 to 3 Vikings. Leave a couple at home and bring the rest for a push into this area. Try and siege up and take out this. These production structures, this factory and depots. Here's a Blue Flame Hellion trying to get a little bit more harassed on, but as you can see, even though Hellion's countering Marines by being light, Marines still doing a great job of cleaning that up just by mass. Once you get enough Marines, as long as you can keep them somewhat spread, Blue Flame Hellions do become rather effective. They are really only good at killing workers unless you get like 20 of them, and then yeah, you can go head to head with Marines, but still, very rarely do you catch Marines alone at that stage of the game when you have 20 Blue Flame Hellions. Looks like SuperNova also going to be going for Siege Tech. Pretty standard around this mid-game, 9 minutes and 30 seconds. This Command Center is done. It's not really doing anything. I think SuperNova is having a hard time finding those minerals to produce double Vikings and Siege mode. It can be quite expensive in the early game, and often, if you don't have this Command Center the way that the STC does, it is very all-in. Even now, we see producing a Raven. No chance is he going to be able to get enough minerals to throw down a Command Center and also do some pressure. Because with this kind of unit composition, tanks and Vikings, there really is no sort of harass. You're basically left with a timing push in which you must do economic damage. Otherwise, you were just too far beyond. Okay, now there goes the Command Center, so it looks like he cut a bit of production. Yeah, as you can see, just that Raven being produced. No more Marines. Here's that Banshee going to be doing a little damage, but he does get picked off. I don't know about going up against Vikings and Marines as a Banshee. I mean, I'd rather see him just kind of keep that on for defense later on. You can't really expect him not to have any scans saved up. And of course, he does have that turret in the mineral line. Okay, back here at SuperNova's base, what do we have going up here? eBay going up for some upgrades. It looks like it's going to be a second factory. You have 2 factories. Reactor Starport, Reactor Barracks. Is anyone getting stim yet? It doesn't seem like it, but a bunch of barracks now going down for the STC. 3 barracks, in fact. So, SuperNova going to be relying on double tanks, which I kind of like now that we're at the 1150 mark. I mean, someone needs to come claim this tower and start doing a slow push. And since this base has been up much longer than this base, well, I do expect SuperNova to kind of get some sort of push going here. I do like this, leaving the Vikings in this area so they can quickly snipe off medevacs. Won't be letting these Vikings come in and getting any scouts off. Just a couple Marines as a deterrent. Here go those Vikings. Let's see what happens here. Hold them back, group them up. Does lose 1 Viking there. That's about all the SCC can do as far as damage. Both players kind of sitting back now. They both have siege tech. They know they can't really attack. They're both fighting for air superiority. A couple turrets going down. Double gas already at the natural. Nothing here yet for the STC. Just doesn't have those minerals yet. Let's take a look at the income tab. 47, so a 7 worker advantage for SuperNova. Looking at the army tabs, we do see SuperNova as well with a significant lead in army. Almost 15 supply, which is quite significant. About 15% of greater army strength. Taking a look at unit tab, looks like, yep, SuperNova has 2 more tanks, so 1 more Viking. the same amount of Marines. He doesn't have this Raven, but because he's not using Cloak Banshees anymore, I mean, the Raven obviously can put down the PDD for the Vikings, but typically I find it rather ineffective. I mean, the Vikings can just pull back, and the PDD is not really going to be doing much. I mean, I suppose those Vikings could pull ahead and get the air vision for the tanks, but once both players start to enter this mid-range of the map, they're both going to be using scans a lot. They're going to be wanting to know exactly where these tanks are at all times. So, again, that Raven, I'm not too sure I consider it a significant edge in the air superiority. Supernova throwing down his third, getting ready for that late game. Going to be probably taking this gold, sieging up here, cutting off half of the map. Bunch of Marines moving out to the center of the map to get that vision. Ooh, I like this. A little bit of a blue flame Hellion drop in the main. Did he get any workers? What's the workers killed again? Units killed. Control R, that's right. So it looks like, yeah, wow, he did get a significant amount of workers in that. Wish I could have grabbed that visual for you, but can't always grab everything. Even with these sensor towers, the STC was not able to react in time, and neither was I. Nonetheless, Supernova clearing out his third, as did the STC. So here comes the STC. He's moving out into the middle of the map. Tanks and Marines, where are his Vikings? Here they are, still watching for drops. Jockeying for position over the Zelnaga cavern. The Zelnaga tower. Here we go, a bit of engagement here. Tanks sieging up on the red side for the SEC. Supernova also sieging up. He's going to be able to clear out the Marines. Vikings trying to get that air advantage, but it looks like these tanks can see plenty far with the Zelnaga tower. These Supernova tanks are going to be able to clean up the SEC, and here comes the Vikings. They're battling as well. Taking a look at the supplies, 120 for Supernova, only 75 for the STC. But the STC does have this position, and here, like I said before, this Raven threw down the PDD, and yet all the Vikings still dying over STC. I'd like to see some SCVs come and repair these tanks. Probably, I'm sure he's busy just working on getting this third up. He's going to have a significant income advantage. He has 57 harvesters to 38. Supernova, with a commanding lead now. Just a matter of taking over this position. Oh my goodness, look at all these Vikings. That is a lot of Vikings. You can pretty much assume that Supernova is going to have air superiority for the rest of the game. In fact, with these Marauders and tanks being produced, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of Banshees being thrown in. You know, those can really catch a player off guard. So he's going to be bringing in these Marines, do a little bit of dropping action, trying to get some splash damage on these tanks, and there it is, getting aware of one tank. Vikings landing, Hellions moving in, tanks moving, pushing forward. Going to be clearing up this entire army of the STCs. Oh, it looks like Supernova is going to take this game. He's just going to move it, and there is the well one of the STC. Supernova showing his TvT dominance in that game. Thanks for watching this replay. I'm MarineKush. Check out my website, MarineKush.com, and I will see you all later.